Ever since July of 2020, the topic of Naruto vs Meliodas has never come to an end and or properly examined, and thus the controversial topic is still raging on. So I decided to go over both characters and find out who truly wins between the two. Again, remember listen to more of the things I say and to pay attention to more of the things I say and my reasonings upon why a character would win and or above the other, instead of paying attention to who's the overall winner. However, without further ado, let's get right into the video and enjoy. Naruto during the 4th Gate Ninja War was able to stop away a total of 5 Bijuu Bombs with only half Kurama's overall power. Kurama in the 3rd and 4th data book was stated to have enough power that could turn the world to ash, and again in the 4th data book with the introduction of KCM2 is stated to have earth-shattering power. With this being said, it would be narratively consistent that Naruto during the early phase of the war arc is already planetary. Naruto would then fight against the likes of the 10 Tails Madara and attain the likes of the Sage 6 Path transformation. Sage 6 Path mode within the 4th data book was stated to inherently surpass the likes of the prior KCM2 plus Sage mode transformation Naruto had used prior against the likes of a 10 Tails Obito and a 10 tailed one-eyed Madara. Madara would then drop several Chuyaku Tenseis that are all calced to around multi-continental on the likes of Naruto and Sasuke, and they would be easily dispatched of. So it's again consistent that a teenage 6-pad Naruto is on this tier of power. During the same 4th war, a character known as Kaguya Otsutsuki would emerge. Kaguya was stated and shown to being able to destroy her Genesis or main dimension, with this dimension having a star within it, which is shown within the official OVA of the Naruto manga, to add not only a star, but a moon as well. This would make sense, seeing how these dimensions are directly shown to have full day-night cycles within them, which would debunk any other artificial light source arguments. In response to this argument, people may say that Kaguya got her power from the Shinobi Alliance, yet the Alliance aren't even 9 tails level, which is directly shown when they're almost killed by the Jubi Cataclysm, and they were only saved because of the 1-tail cloak provided by Naruto. This would mean that a 4 times AM Shinobi Alliance is still nothing compared to not only the 9 tails, but Kaguya herself, meaning this debunk wouldn't be applicable. Kaguya was being able to destroy the star and moon within her dimension would get her to completely star level, with the possibility of solar system at the highest and star level as the lowest, as I said prior. During the last, Naruto would then face off against one of the last descendants of Hamura Otsutsuki, Toneri. Toneri on the movie's spot set was stated on 2 separate occasions to have chakra not only comparable to that of Kaguya, but to be the strongest enemy Naruto has faced so far. Toneri was going to hurl the moon at Earth due to the fact that he thought Earth's spatial curvature was too big, seeing how it went from a 10 to an overall 16, and because the overall chakra amount on Earth was too big as well. Toneri was stated to being able to destroy Earth on multiple occasions, so it's again consistent with his lore and narrative that he would be this strong, but ended up getting one-shotted by a base, non-ant, teenage 19-year-old Naruto, and again, this is only Naruto at 16 through 19 years old, replicating and producing these feats. During the beginning of the Boruto manga, an adult Sage 6 Path mode Naruto would then face off against the likes of Ishiki Otsutsuki, who was directly stated by Amato to surpass and beat the likes of Kaguya to the point where she had to attack him off guard in order to hope a win against him in the first place. Naruto alongside the likes of Sasuke would then beaten up so bad by the likes of Ishiki, and with no hope in sight, Kurama would then propose they use a form called Barren Mode. Barren Mode is comprised of the process called nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion being the process of energy in which 2 nuclear reaction in which 2 or more nuclei particles either fuse or transform into subatomic particles. The difference in mass between the reactants and products is manifested at either the release or absorption of energy. This will all be the reason why Naruto absorbs life energy like he did against Ishiki instead of releasing it. Nuclear fusion is also the process of energy that quite literally powers the likes of stars. Keep in mind, to even hope of destroying the star, it would take 10 to the 41 joules of energy to even overcome its GBE and completely destroy it. This would mean that Naruto would then gain an almost star level and on top of his base star level power, which would quantify up to millions upon millions of times of an amp if you took the nuclear fusion process hyper-literally. Moving on to Naruto's speed. Naruto's speed could be layered into 3 tiers of speed, in which these layers of speed are the lightning levels of speed, relativistic, and finally the faster than light to massively faster than light ranges of speed. As for the lightning levels of speed, this is shown with Kakashi at the age of 14 whilst being fatigued to being able to cut a lightning bolt in half, which is in turn how he got the name Lightning Cutter or Raikiri. The lightning levels of speed are also expanded and extrapolated upon with the introduction of the Kirin, with the Kirin being stated to move at 1/1000th of a second, with the likes of those speeds being calculated to around 1/millionth of a second, which in turn is 2 times as fast as normal lightning, which is already 1/3 the speed of light. As for the lightspeed meta, as I don't really think the relativistic matters to the overall scale, especially at this point in time, the first instance of lightspeed would be within the Land of Waves arc, with Haku within the first data book being stated to move at faster than light speeds or moving at light speeds once going all out with the ice mirrors. This would be consistent, seeing how with her blatantly reacting to an order starting on Kakashi's Raikiri while being tired and fatigued in order to save the likes of Zabuza. So with this being said, it would be narratively consistent that Naruto is in fact light speed, and it isn't too outlandish seeing how the early versions of these part 1 characters are able to casually not only produce but react to light speed attacks and movements. However, during Shippuden is where the real scaling for Naruto's speed would really start to blossom, with characters like the Raikage being stated to move at near the speed of light within his V1 form in collaboration with B to perform the double lariat, and with the Raikage possibly reaching the likes of light speed or even surpassing it with his V2 transformation, and this would make perfect sense. A newly acquired KCM1 Naruto would then go on to speed blitz the likes of a V2 full power Raikage, which would again make him at least faster than light. Some have calculated speed feat to be around at least 72 to 75 times the speed of light. However, I'll leave it up to your interpretation on if you think Naruto within this point in the series is truly this fast. However, via the part 1 scaling that I did prior, and with these characters already reaching the likes of the speeds earlier, I wouldn't say it's too inconsistent or too outlandish to assert. Naruto would then achieve the likes of the Sage of Sage Path Mode transformation I mentioned prior within the video, in which he would be able to dodge the likes of the Sage Art of Light Fang while being held in place by Madara's invisible limbo clone that exists on an entirely level plane of existence. In the 4th data book, however, Kishimoto describes the Sage Art Light Fang as follows, and I quote, "An ninjutsu used by those who gains the Sage of Sage Path Mode power. They emit a beam of light to bisect the enemy like a sharp-pointed fang. It cuts all things with the speed of light, making it impossible for the enemy to evade. Even one swing." Naruto during the Naruto Resident light novel that came out in 2018 was able to dodge like the photonic light beams, with its translation stating, and I quote, "He followed that thought. A bright red beam shot out, followed by a low hum of photons displaced molecules. Not knowing how to operate the bike, Naruto instinctively learned to dodge the bike alongside his body. The laser beam, without bending, passed right through Naruto's ears and immediately hit the fence of the private house behind him." End quote. And again, all these feats and statements that I am conveying within the video aren't new at all and are canon to the main timeline of Naruto's continuity, this being all 5 Boruto light novels, all Shinden and Retsuden light novels, the last, Naruto Part 1 and 2, and finally the Boruto movie, and later on the Boruto manga, and the sequel to Naruto, the Boruto anime. With this being said, it would again be consistent with not only the inverse scaling but the narrative consistencies, with Naruto being this fast and with him being fast and light within his own verse, whether that be using calc with the KCM1 speed blitzing the Raikage, or Naruto dodging the likes of the Sage Art Light Fang that quote-unquote bisects the enemy like a sharp-pointed fang. It cuts all things at the speed of light, making it impossible for the enemy to evade. So yeah, Naruto would be in fact this fast, and there's nothing that contradicts it within the manga or anime continuities of the series. The Sin of Wrath and future heir of the Demon King throne known as Meliodas throughout the entirety of Sevendeadlysins manga and anime has been portrayed to be the strongest and to topple any enemy he has faced so far. But can he beat the likes of Naruto? The supreme deity was stated to create her realm that housed a potential star within it to illuminate the likes of the goddess realm. This star may be artificial light source, however, I'll leave that to your interpretation depending on where you want Meliodas to scale. However, if you choose to take this feat into account, then Meliodas would be either star level to solar system, again depending on where you want him to scale. It's thoroughly consistent with the narrative that the Demon King is equal or at least relative to the likes of the supreme deity. Even with the Sevendeadlysins Cursed by Light movie, it's directly stated by the likes of Bon that they wouldn't be having so much trouble against the likes of the supreme deity if Meliodas didn't trade his power in reference to the true Demon King form he attained at the end of the series. Meliodas doesn't even try to deny or even goes against this, and in fact agrees, stating that Meliodas would have beaten the likes of the supreme deity in that form. So it's again consistent with the narrative that the Demon King and supreme deity are on the same level of strength within the Seven Deadly Sins hierarchy. Escanor also has a form known as the One, in which the One form for a total of 60 seconds from high noon to 12:01. Escanor reaches the peak of his power, and in this form is able to go blow for blow with the aforementioned said Demon King. The reason as to why this is important is because it's directly stated by Escanor himself that although he didn't know how to properly control his power at the time, Meliodas would beat him back to back in order to teach Escanor how to control it as well as to keep it in check. So it's again consistent with the narrative, or for Meliodas to be on the potential star level ranges of power. However, Meliodas could be even stronger if scaled off the likes of Merlin. Merlin, during and throughout the Battle of Leonis against the likes of Zeldris and the rest of the demons, showcased her power to stop her own personal time so that she doesn't age. It is then revealed that the reasoning and power for Merlin doing this feat is due to her ability called Infinity. The ability allows her to infinitely exert her magical power in order to preserve her own time, which would jot her up to infinitely 3D. For those who still disagree, it's directly stated that within the Sevendeadlysins manga, that a feat such as stopping one's time is almost near impossible, and it would take an absurd amount of magical energy and or power to do so. So it would make sense that Merlin does have an infinite supply of magical energy, or at least has a vast amount of magical energy, depending on which interpretation you want to have, in order to conclude on Meliodas' range of power. As for the speed of Meliodas' speed is quite contentious, walky, and hard to grasp. However, I think I've compiled enough evidence in order to make his speed consistent as well as coherent enough for you guys to grasp. During the early arcs of Seven Deadly Sins, while Meliodas was searching for the other sins, the Meliodas and gang would also encounter a knight called Gale Thunder. Gale Thunder has the ability of lightning and can produce the likes of real lightning and use it both offensively and defensively. For context as to why this is important, lightning is 1/3 the speed of light, as I said prior within the Naruto section, and a weakened Meliodas was still fast and strong enough to dodge the likes of this range of amp Gale Thunder while suppressing himself even more in order to gain information on the sins such as Bond and King. Meliodas may be even faster, with Meliodas scaling above the likes of Zeldris, who boasts the almost fastest technique in the series to date. However, take this how you will, depending on how fast you want the character to scale. However, hypersonic, relativistic, or light speed is most consistent for the character at this point within the series. We also know that Meliodas did fully surpass the likes of the Supreme Deity as well as Demon King, as stated by Zeldris himself, which would again put him on those potentially star the solar system ranges of power. We also know that a demon's power is at its highest during the night and sort of acts like Escanor's the one form when it hits high noon. As for the abilities of Meliodas does have an ability to reattach limbs using his demon magic and can enter a form called Assault Mode, where he basically becomes bloodlusted and goes straight for the kill, as seen against the likes of Escanor in this form. He's also able to tangle with the likes of the one form Escanor, but take this how you will. However, Meliodas' demon magic pales in comparison to the likes of Naruto's regeneration, with Naruto being able to regenerate both a heart and lung and other minor wounds, as seen when he's pierced by Sasuke's sword. Overall, Naruto would outscale and outspeed the likes of Meliodas, with Naruto having a far better consistent light speed or even higher scaling, while Meliodas is still around those lightning levels of speed within even the end portions of his entire series. Realistically speaking, Meliodas would be a far better match for the likes of characters such as Saitama, but even then it might even be a stretch due to Saitama's speed compared to Meliodas's. However, one may be able to put Meliodas above the likes of Naruto using the aforementioned Merlin scale I displayed prior within the video that jots him up to universal. However, the same can be said with Naruto, with Naruto being able to compete against the likes of both Momoshiki and Kaguya, two beings who created 4D and universal constructs in which a base Naruto is able to tangle with a being on this tier or strength. So it's getting more consistent that Meliodas is on those Saitama ranges of power and doesn't even touch the likes of Naruto. However, it has been Tempest. I know uploads have been slow, but with longer production time means higher quality, so please bear with me. However, the links to my TikTok, Discord servers, and tag, as well as Cash App, will be in the description down below, as well as comment section. However, I hope everyone has a nice rest of their day. Make sure to stay safe, and till next time, bye.